Welcome to another episode of Hot Rod City. This is a momentous occasion, the inaugural event. This is the first episode I'm shooting inside the new garage. I got concrete, I got doors, lights are wired and mounted, and they work on a switch like they should. I got a handful of outlets up that if I need to use and plug stuff in. I'm using a turbo heater and a little patio heater to keep warm. So, I'm working on this truck. This truck is built, the intent was to build it with scrap leftovers from my Blazer. Through impatience and whatnot, I ended up building this truck first somehow. So, old man drove this into a snowbank, tore the trans line. Trans is slipping, tore the whole front end up. I only paid $400 for the truck. It was nasty and grimy, cleaned most of it out. So, put this front end on it, did a round headlight swap, and I did a straight axle swap using Jeep axles from like a Wrangler or a Cherokee. They're from a Wrangler, but you could use Cherokee as well. Only difference, the Cherokees have coil springs versus a Wrangler has leaf springs. So that's what I opted for. I bought the lift kit to do the straight axle swap on my Blazer, and when I got it I realized I could make it. So I used it as a mock and built the new kit for this twice as big. That's why this thing is so daggone high. And it's on 33s. So, and it's taller than me, and I'm 6'4". So the front end needs to get brought down just a little bit to get my caster angle right, and it's got a little Carolina swap going here, and I don't dig that. So the truck is actually two-wheel drive. I bought the trans before I lifted it, so that's what we're gonna rock with. Good old boy Andrew would actually like to buy this truck. He's very excited about it. So once he pays off his, speed camera fines and his red light camera fines, then he'd like to come up with some money and go ahead and buy this. And he's getting the family and friends discount. So we're gonna get this thing finished, that way I can get it out of my yard and I can have more room to buy more junk. So on the list to do with this thing is put the fuel pump in it, because the fuel pump decided the last go round, since the last time I started it doesn't want to work. So this is the 1 year that you can't put just the pump in the assembly, you have to buy the whole assembly. So, but Rock Auto had me good, already got that. The trans I got it from the scrap yard, from the junk yard. It's sitting on the dolly over there. And I got a new trans jack last night, so we're ready to do that. I gotta put shocks in it, is amongst the other things we gotta do. So I gotta make some shock mounts, and I'm gonna put a sway bar in the front to hook the sway bar back up. This truck, later down the line, it's not that hard to change it over to four-wheel drive. If Andrew does in fact buy this truck, and then he decides to do that, it'll probably come back in another episode for that. But I'm not doing it. I already have my Blazer's four-wheel drive, and we're gonna lift that and make that cool off-road stuff. I got this bumper on here because I'm not building it. This doesn't have a receiver in it. I bought a tube, the receiver tube around here somewhere. I actually bought, because I was gonna build a bumper for it, because I was gonna keep the truck. But I have other cool toys that I want to play with and I want to keep. I like this. It's just, he seems to want it more than I do. And at least this way, he gets the truck. He's happy about it. And I get some money to play with more cool toys. So, I'm going to get to it. The way we're going to do this, the fuel pump, is I'm not dropping the tank. I'm going to loosen all the bolts on the passenger side, take them all out on the driver's side, disconnect the fuel filler neck, and just run a 2x4 up underneath of it and a fender well, jack it up and go from underneath of it. That's how I've done all the S10s previously and my Silverado, and it's just a lot easier than laying on the ground on cold concrete. Even though I did get a new creeper. I have a creeper, first time I've ever had use for a creeper. So Harbor Freight, woo! So I'm gonna get to it. The only difference, I've never done the bed, pulled the bed up on it with the bed cover. I can always take the bed cover off, but I don't want to, just because it's a pain. So I'm gonna see what I can do. Taking everything off, all the bolts off this side, loosened them. I took them out and put them in a couple of threads on the other side, so they are still in. And then unhooked the wiring harness, and I ended up taking this cap off the side just because I know it's a pain when I go back down. So just this piece here. It's a pain to get back on, or it's a pain to get it back down when it's hooked up. So now I have access, I can reach in there. All I did was take the bolts out, the screws out of here, unhook the ground and the tag lights, and lifted it up. So now I can get in there and get to, this is just 2x4 on a jack. Jack it up. So if I were keeping this and it were mine, I'd probably clean this up, clean up under here, put some paint, but I'm not, so let Andrew take care of his own truck. So I'll go ahead and get that changed out. The one in the box I got brand new, and then put the bed back together. Make sure it runs again. The bed back on. Everything's buttoned back up. Try to start it. Make sure the battery's hooked up. Stupid side post terminal. Fuel pump's done. Now to move on to the next thing.